Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Movie Maniacs podcast. That's right, I'm your host, Kevin, as usual, on this podcast where we talk about movies which will be coming out here in cinemas in Brunei Darussalam. Of course, as usual, I have my co-host with me, Tibi.
Hello, what's up?
Hi, what's up? How are you, dude?
I am good.
Good? Enjoying the weekend?
Yeah, pretty much a productive weekend.
That's great, man. We're going to be talking about Logan this week. We're going to be doing our review. So if you are listening to this podcast, fair warning, this is a spoiler review which will be happening today. Are you ready for that, Tibi?
Yep, we're gonna talk a lot about the movie. So if you have not watched the movie, better stay away from this podcast for now.
Run. You have between now and after we finish the news to not listen to the podcast.
Yes, you can listen to the news first.
Yeah. All right. As usual, we're going to start off with movie news. In the news, sad news this week, Bill Paxton has died at 61 years old. Do you know who Bill Paxton is?
I sadly not know him.
Okay. Well, anyway, he passed away due to complications following heart surgery. He appeared in movies like The Terminator 1, Aliens, Predator 2, True Lies, Titanic, Apollo 13. He's been in a lot of movies. He's had a career spanning about 40 years or so. He died at 61. More recently, he was in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
As
One of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Or was it? I can't remember. Was he a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent? Or a Hydra agent? I don't remember. I don't keep up with...
he's not that famous, I guess.
He's a part of cult cinema fame.
Okay.
As in, people who like watch all these movies, like the Terminator franchise and the Alien franchise. Of course, they know him. He's been a favorite of James Cameron. James Cameron has put him in quite a bit of his movies.
Okay.
And most recently, he started a new series on TV. It's the Training Day series.
I have not watched that.
Yeah,
also.
me neither, but I think I will. But sadly, he's no longer with us. Next news, we've got, here's a bit of a surprise for you. Suicide Squad, one of the worst movies of 2016, has won an Oscar.
What? Let me guess. Best costume.
Close. Best makeup and hairstyle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this happened last week at the 89th Academy Awards. Now, as we know, the movie was critically panned, but it was a commercial success.
Well, it is DC.
Yeah, it grossed like $750 million worldwide, which is fair, which is good. But the movie, I just watched it again last week just for the fun of it. It's still bad.
It's still all over the place.
Still all over the place. Sticking with DC, David Ayer, who directed Suicide Squad, and Will Smith, who plays Deadshot, have teamed up once again for a film called Bright. Now, this film is a supernatural thriller, and it's written by David Ayer and his longtime writing partner Max Landis, and it's going to be put out by Netflix.
Netflix has been very good with their movies recently.
Yeah, like earlier was it late last year, they had a movie called Spectre, which I really enjoyed. It's like something to do with ghosts and
then those Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, there were a couple of Adam Sandler movies. Adam Sandler has like a
contract with them.
I think
or
like
something.
a six movie picture deal with Netflix.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so he has to put one out like every year. And going on that, Netflix is also really good with their general content, like for series. Like we've seen Daredevil, we've had Jessica Jones, we've had Luke Cage. So they work really well with Marvel. I think they're gonna give maybe
DC a chance.
Maybe DC or other universes a chance. Yeah. So more on DC. Zack Snyder, who directed Superman and
I can't remember.
Yeah, Batman vs Superman. Sorry, has released test footage of Aquaman.
Yeah, because he is directing that. So.
Yeah, in his Aquaman is in his natural. I've seen the clip. It's just like a 3-second bit where Aquaman's sort of swimming and then he comes to a stop. Obviously down in the sea. He released a video on Twitter. It's a bit grainy, but it shows Aquaman. Yeah, like I said, swimming. I don't know. He looks like he looked like a mermaid. I
Well,
don't know.
he is a mermaid.
Like anything underwater kind of looks, well, right off the bat, like fake.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look realistic because it's a mermaid.
Yeah.
Because you can't wrap it around your head.
And it's like all CG. All CG.
I don't know. I'm just gonna give it a chance, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, we will watch it, but we're not gonna go in with high hopes, as you know, with everything from the DC universe. All right. Moving on from DC onto Marvel. Pinewood Atlantis Studios, which is a studio in the UK, the co-owner may have revealed the budget for an unspecified movie currently filming there. Now he said, "quote We now have a lot. We now have on the lot down there now the largest film production ever with $1 billion budget."
1 billion.
Yeah. So the only movie that is shooting on the Pinewood Atlantis Studios lot is Marvel Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2. They're going to be filming this back to back
yeah.
over the whole year. And, well, if he is accurate, that kind of makes this movie the biggest
ever budget.
movie ever.
Is it like divided into two movies? The budget for 1 billion?
Well, Marvel's Infinity War is Part 1 and Part 2. So essentially, they'll be releasing one movie, let's say this year, and then maybe the next movie the following year. But they're shooting it back to back, so the story is essentially one story. I don't know. What would you count this as? 500 million
Each
per movie, or would you just call it one project and call it $1 billion?
I don't know. Because movies are reviewed per movie, not the whole project. I think so. 500 million sounds a realistic budget for one movie, I think.
Can you imagine that we're talking about $500 million in budget for a movie?
Yeah, because Suicide Squad got 700 million just now.
Yeah, they grossed in $750 million.
So they still got money.
Yeah, they still made money.
But that's still a lot.
Well, we'll just have to see. I mean, we've seen that pre-production trailer that Marvel put out a couple of weeks ago. And it looks exciting. It looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, the upcoming Marvel films.
I mean, Marvel now has the pressure of, everything is good from them for now.
I think everything will be sort of be based. People always compare Marvel to DC, and it seems that with more DC movies coming out, Marvel is just sort of trying to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And just throw money at it and say we're gonna make this even more awesome, even more spectacular, just to make sure that DC doesn't catch up.
But DC does set a very low bar to Marvel, I think.
Yeah, I can't argue with you on that, but we'll just have to wait and see, because Wonder Woman's coming out this year and Justice League as well. The road has not been easy for those movies.
Yeah, but to be fair, Marvel hasn't really won an Oscar, but Suicide Squad won one Oscar.
But it was a technical. It was a technical award.
Yeah, they could. Fans would argue like, we won an Oscar. What did you win?
Yeah, you won an Oscar for having best makeup. Anyway, moving on to the next bit of news. The first spin-off film from the Transformers franchise. Spin-off film. Yeah, I did not know that this is happening. Is going to spotlight a fan favorite Autobot. It's going to be Bumblebee, and it has secured a director by the name of Mr. Knight. I can't remember his name, but yeah, his name is something Knight, and he signed on to helm the project for Paramount. Previously, his movies have been Kubo and the Two Strings and Paranorman, so kind of like those stop motion kind of films, and he's going to be tackling.
Oh, so it's not an action live movie.
No details available at this point, but I think it's going to be a live action film. But yeah, what do you think about the Transformers universe having spin-offs now? I mean, we're going to get a Bumblebee movie.
I think it's similar to DC because they're just doing it for the money, because they know every Transformer movie will get them money.
Yeah, it's not really about the story or the content anymore.
Yeah, because it's a Transformer movie. Everyone will still watch it.
Right. Including us.
Yes.
So yeah,
Sadly, yes.
we're actually looking forward to more news about this. So there you have it, guys. A Transformers spin-off film featuring a fan favorite, Bumblebee. Next bit of news. Last week we talked about Patrick Stewart and how he's announced his retirement from playing Professor X in the X-Men franchise. He has now said that he will be open to playing Professor X again, but with Deadpool.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that would really make sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if Wolverine will be appear in Deadpool as well.
Yeah, because we talked about this last week with Zainal, and
Yep.
we kind of put it down as he's out, but he's not really out.
He's like at the door.
Yeah, but officially he's out, but he could just turn around and come back in and just say, you know what, I'll do one more.
It'd probably not be a major role. I think it'll probably like a 15-minute cameo.
Yeah,
or
maybe a
something.
cameo.
Yeah.
Because we saw in Deadpool 1, he went to the
school.
Professor Xavier's
Yeah.
school, and Professor Xavier obviously was not there. But who knows? Maybe in the next film he could go back to the school and Professor X is there.
Yeah, probably
Maybe?
for that few scenes.
Yeah, for that few scenes, and maybe Wolverine too, just sort of walking by with a
Yeah.
cigar in his mouth.
Yeah.
Saying what's up. And that's it. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Logan later on, so we'll touch on this again. Here's a bit of news that we talked about over our top movies for 2017.
Yes,
it's Beauty and the Beast, which is coming out soon here in local cinemas. Disney has announced that the live adaptation of Beauty and the Beast will include an exclusively homosexual moment for LeFou.
Yeah.
LeFou, of course, is Gaston's sidekick, the little annoying guy in the cartoon. He's played by Josh Gad in the live adaptation. And yeah, Disney's come out and said it, that there is a homosexual moment for him. And it's prompted this response so far. One theater in Alabama in the US has dropped the film, saying we're not going to show this because
There's an openly gay dude in the movie. Yeah.
that's one. And even bigger, officials in Russia are calling for Beauty and the Beast to be banned altogether from Russia if it violates a 2013 law that prohibits the spread of homosexual propaganda, in quotations, to minors.
Oh.
So, I don't know, would you consider this backlash by Disney trying to be maybe more open, to include all sectors, I guess?
I didn't think that they would have to advertise this to the media that said, we have an openly gay dude in our movie. I mean, they didn't have to do that. They could have just showed the movie and then there's a gay dude inside it.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just to give a sense of inclusion, maybe for some people.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to attract the LGBT society.
To sort of say, look, we're on board with you guys. We accept it. It's part of one of our characters now. But obviously backlash. But you see, if that's happening in even in the U.S. for some conservative states like Alabama and in Russia, where officials are now calling for the movie to be banned if it breaks this so-called law, what do you think about Brunei?
I don't think they would really
look into it. Maybe. But
I mean, unless some guy in the one of the government sector, this is a story about the gay dude, so maybe then they will probably
it will be on their radar.
Yeah.
Because if you look at movies that have been banned in the past, we're looking at Deadpool for 2016 last year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure as to how they came to the conclusion that they had to ban it, but from my understanding, it was banned in Singapore and certain states in Malaysia, and then Brunei just went on board and said, you know what, we're not showing it either. And then the movie came out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
We had to get our copies, however we could get it. And when we watched it, it was like, okay, we can understand why it was banned. But then Logan comes out a year later, and
it's not really that far off.
It's not far off from Deadpool.
Deadpool.
You've still got the language, you've still got the violence,
which
we'll talk about in the
later.
review, our spoiler-filled review, guys. So please do take note. After this, when we finish the news, if you don't want spoilers, turn off this podcast.
Just close your ears.
Just close and hum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Disney, of course, has announced the live adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, which is coming out soon, to have an openly homosexual character. Last bit of news for today. This is just for me. James Cameron has had a long rumored 3D conversion of one of my favorite films. We talked about this, Terminator 2: Judgment Day. And it finally has a release date of August 2017.
What remake?
They're gonna be re-releasing Terminator 2 in 3D.
In 3D.
Yeah, they did this a couple years ago with Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park came out in 1993, and then they had a 3D special edition, and I have it on Blu-ray. It's fantastic, as long as it's done right. And James Cameron is well known for his 3D movies. Case in point, Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't know. In Brunei, I'm sorry, but the 3D cinemas aren't as good as.
They're below par to anything we get from maybe Indonesia or Singapore, even KK.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 3D is not big here at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of 3D, but unless we have a good 3D facility here, I wouldn't be.
Then it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watch 3D movies here at home.
Yeah, at your home.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this because obviously there's going to be a Blu-ray coming out. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to watch it. And then I'm going to relive my childhood watching Terminator 2. Arnold in all his T-800 glory, maybe. We'll
Have
see.
Fun.
All right, that's it for news this week. If you have any questions or if you'd like us to talk about something on the podcast, be sure to email us at moviemaniacspod@gmail.com. So, Tibby, the big topic for this week, Logan. We've watched it.
I enjoyed it.
So did I.
I said to Kevin, I don't hate it.
Yeah, towards the end.
Yeah.
His exact words were, I don't hate it, but I don't know.
Yes. I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. For one, I feel sad because it's Hugh Jackman's last movie as Wolverine.
Officially.
And he died. So spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, he died.
Wolverine dies.
Wolverine dies in this movie.
And
so that's probably why I was sad and didn't like it at all. I mean, I don't hate it. It's sad.
All right, let's sort of pump the brakes here a bit and go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna sort of dissect this movie from the beginning to the end. Now, if you don't already know, Logan, of course, is a story of Hugh Jackman's character as Wolverine. The story is set in the near future, 2029.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, how we're introduced to the movie is that mutants are sort of rare now.
Yeah, something happened.
Something happened.
Most mutants are dead now.
Yeah, and Logan has been sort of pushed into a corner where he now is a driver for a limo company.
A chauffeur.
He's a chauffeur. And then right from the beginning, the violence starts. You see, he wakes up and then someone's trying to steal the rims of his limo. He comes out and he gets shot point blank, bam, and then he gets back up as Wolverine does. But then the
cuts someone's head off.
The blood starts coming. And you're like, whoa!
Cut someone's arm off.
Yeah, arm off, and then we see his Wolverine claws go into a body in ways that we've never seen before, like right into the camera, into someone's head, and you're like, whoa, this is really R-rated.
Yeah. We also see how Logan is old now because his claws, when it came out, not all of them were in sync.
Yeah, because he has 3 on one arm and only two came out.
Two and a half came out.
Came out, and he was just looking at it going, what?
Yeah. So we start to see how deteriorated his body is.
Yeah. The theory behind that is that adamantium is poisonous.
Yeah.
So Wolverine without the adamantium, as we saw in Wolverine Origins, he started off with the bone claws. Yep. That's where his ability to regenerate is at its best. So when they introduce adamantium into his body, his body's like constantly trying to repair itself from the effects of adamantium.
Oh.
So apparently, the theory is that now it's 2029, and the X-Men are no more, and his body is aging, and because of the adamantium, he's sort of slowing down. We see it through the film. His regenerative processes is just whack,
Very slow.
very slow, and he's actually scarring.
Yeah.
Now and we see his scars when he takes his shirt off, and you're like, whoa! I thought Wolverine was like all this like perfect,
regenerate all the time.
but we see that
Like
he's
open wounds is like there.
for a few seconds
Yeah.
or minutes maybe, but yeah, and then we find out that he lives across the border in Mexico, with this other mutant,
Something.
an albino mutant.
Yeah, an albino
Who's
mutant.
sensitive to the sun, and then that's the first glimpse we see of Professor X,
Which
who is
experiencing Alzheimer's.
I think it's Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
or it could be maybe some brain thing. It could be a tumor. We don't know. But what we do know is that he's not all there
Yeah.
at this point. He doesn't remember. He has to take meds, and then we find out the reason why later throughout the movie why he's taking. He's fed
Yeah.
medication by Logan. But then the whole story comes in, and we meet a little girl,
A random girl.
a random little girl,
Hispanic.
Hispanic girl who's 11 years old. Apparently, she's 11 years old. Since we're on full spoilers, she's X-23.
Yeah.
Yep. So in this movie, she is the daughter of Logan.
Well, cells taken from Logan.
Yeah, cells taken from Logan and then
then-
regenerated and artificially inseminated into another lady, and then she comes out, and then boom, she has the healing
Powers.
ability of
Logan,
Logan,
and also adamantium was inserted.
in her
in the
as
body,
well.
yeah.
So the story behind that is that there's a pharmaceutical company that set up shop in Mexico, and they're trying to develop human weapons.
Yeah.
As always, I mean, all these movies have always centered around making mutants into
War
weapons.
equipments. Yeah.
Or
weapons,
or equipments, basically making soldiers or super soldiers. But she seems very unassuming at first. Very
She
quiet.
doesn't talk for the first hour maybe of the movie.
Not even that. The movie was 2 hours, and I think she only spoke maybe the last half an hour.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But she was good. I liked her.
She's good. I think she shows that sort of confused and emotional side, and then suddenly the flip switches, and then bam, she's cutting heads off.
Yeah.
She's jumping through this like she's jumping across the screen. She's got claws coming out of her foot. And you're
Yeah.
like, whoa.
I mean, the first scene where she kills people, she was holding someone's head
Yeah.
and threw it on the floor,
Well-
and it was rolling.
We see that shot in the trailer, her walking out, but we don't see what she's holding.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it becomes apparent as she walks closer that it's a head, and you're like, and she just throws it on the ground, and you're like, whoa, this is really not a kids movie. And then
Yeah.
I have to bring this up because we watched the movie together.
Yep.
There were kids.
Logan is not a movie for kids.
Logan
People.
Logan is not a movie that you bring kids to. If you do intend to bring kids, our recommendation is to not bring them because
cinema, yeah.
this movie is just, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but you've got disembodied body parts. You've got blood. You've got
Curse
swearing.
words, yeah.
Yeah, right off the bat, you have curse words, and it's not something you bring kids to. And to be honest, if you don't do your research and you don't know that Logan is an R-rated film, then you need to check yourself. And
Yeah. You need to check for every movie
that
before you bring your kids to the movie.
that kid at the end of the row was maybe 5,
Yeah.
and he was just going, "Wow!"
I hope he
Wolverine."
doesn't start cutting people's head off.
or taking knives from
Yep.
from the kitchen. Anyway, back to the movie. X-23 was great, and then it's explained to us that she was in a pharmaceutical medical facility. She's been re-engineered along with all these other kids who all have abilities. Here's the thing, though. I have a question for you. We see in the movie that X-23 is Hispanic.
Yep.
And she speaks Spanish.
Spanish.
And of course English as well in that Spanish accent. She is trying to convince Logan to bring her to a certain place to meet up with all the other
mutant
kid mutants
Yeah.
who have escaped.
We didn't know that in the beginning.
Yeah, we didn't know that, but we sort of assumed because she kept wanting to go there,
Yeah.
and they even show that she has X-Men comics. So apparently X-Men comics are a thing in that universe. And then there's that famous shot of Logan looking at going, well, that didn't happen the way it's shown here. Maybe it only happened like a quarter like
Yeah.
this. Anyway, but there are coordinates in that comic panel, and that's where she wants to go, or because she believes, or we're led to believe, that it's like a safe haven for mutants. But in actuality, it's just coordinates that all the other kids have agreed
have to meet.
to meet there before a certain time, so they can sort of escape somewhere.
She should have told Logan about this.
Yeah, she should have, because there was a big part of the movie where Logan just looked at it and went, "Look, it's in a comic book. It's a lie."
Yeah.
And then she just gets angry and this and that. She doesn't speak, and then it just leads to a lot of, well, if we didn't have that, then we wouldn't have had some of the humor
Yeah.
that we see. And just so you know, guys, the humor is actually not bad. It's a very Deadpool kind of humor, like finding something funny in something so
Dark.
dark. So it's dark humor.
But I think like the girl wasn't really properly raised, so maybe she has problem with communication.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
no, which leads me back to the question. We see the other kids towards the end of the movie, and we see that there's like a white kid and like
A black kid.
and then a black kid, and the white kid sounds like a white kid, and the black kid sounds like a black kid, and you're thinking, wait a minute, if you go back to the story, they all
Came from the same
yeah,
facility.
they all were born and bred from the same pharmaceutical lab and raised in captivity, never seen the light of day. So they all had the same caregivers who were, what we were led to understand, were all Hispanic Latina
Yeah.
women. Where did they get the accents from?
Ugh.
TV.
I have no explanation for this. The only explanation, the possible explanation would probably be their nurse.
Maybe.
Is if it's a white kid, they have a white nurse, and then the black
No,
kid
we see the nurses
Yeah.
in the film. We see them in the movie, and they're all
Hispanic.
they're all Mexican.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Okay, anyway, we're gonna move it along because
That was nitpicking. But
yeah, that was just me nitpicking. Moving along, there's this one very interesting bit of the movie, and it's when you realize that it's made known to us that Professor X actually was responsible
for the death of
for the death of
mutants.
all the X-Men.
Yeah.
Because something happened prior to this movie, Logan, where he lost control, and he has this. Those scenes were cool though, where he had these seizures,
Yeah.
and it's kind of cool that Professor X is classified as a weapon of mass destruction. And when he has these seizures,
Everyone around the area
everyone around the area, sort
gets
of
paralyzed.
gets paralyzed and can't breathe, and is sort of like put into dying, stun mode, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see this happen twice or three times in the movie.
2-3 times maybe.
Yeah, and then he towards the first half of the movie, he realizes this because he stopped taking his medication.
Yep.
So he remembers now what happened, and he actually says to Logan, like, he remembers that he's responsible, and that's when there's a twist. He's killed. Spoiler alert.
Professor X is also dead in this movie.
He's also dead in this movie, but he's killed by someone.
Cyborg.
No, I did some checking after the movie, and it's not a cyborg. It's a genetic replica
Of Logan.
of Logan. So that's actually like young Wolverine. Well, not Logan himself, but a clone of
Wolverine. But he can be controlled.
Yeah, he can be controlled. They've sort of raised him up like a dog. So like attack,
Yeah.
and then he attacks. But that was kind of like mind-boggling to see. You see like Hugh Jackman as old Logan fighting
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman as
young
young Logan. Well, not Logan, young Wolverine.
Yeah.
It looked a little fake though. Like they had to CG his face onto it, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably because you can't fine to Hugh Jackman.
But what I read, I can't remember where I read this from, or I might have watched this on another review of Logan, was that there's speculation that clone Logan was actually played by Hugh Jackman. Like he got ripped to play those scenes, and then they just superimposed his young face on it.
So who the old Logan was someone else.
I this is where it's a bit unclear because I'm like, I don't get it. Like, how can he play? Well, it's not really a question of how can he play two characters on the same screen, because we know that can be done.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it wasn't him doing the actions. Maybe they just took like a photographic reference of his body ripped, and then made it into a CG character, kind of like how they did it for Terminator Genesis.
Oh yeah.
Was it Genesis?
The Arnold.
The Arnold, the young Arnold.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like that. Like
the still.
It was like a totally CG
non-saggy
character.
Arnold.
non-saggy. Yes, correct.
Yes.
Not non-saggy Arnold. I think it was more along the lines of that. So maybe Hugh Jackman got really ripped, maybe after the movie or before the movie, and then they took like photographic references and yeah. What did you think of the fight scenes between Logan and young Wolverine? Well, clone Wolverine. Cloverine.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't have much of a problem with the fight scenes in this movie. It was good in general. Like lots of blood for art. Yeah, it's R-rated, and it's what you expect from
an R-rated film.
Yeah, I mean it's more brutal than previous X-Men movies where Wolverine was in it. It's like this is what you would expect from Wolverine.
Yeah. So wait. So Wolverine in all the previous X-Men films were like the kiddie version.
Yes.
Like the PG safe,
dumbed down
cartoon
Wolverine.
version.
Yes.
There you go, cartoon version, and then this is graphic novel version.
Yes.
I won't lie to you. Like I sat there, and then some of the way that Logan kills his enemies made me just lean back in the chair. And,
I made faces. Like, ooh,
yeah, I could hear you making faces.
Yeah.
Like ooh. And it wasn't just us. It was like most of the people in the cinema. They whenever there was like a really graphic kill, everyone just went oh. More so for X-23.
Yep, because she did even more.
She was more brutal actually.
Yes.
Than Logan was in this film, which kind of paves the way for the future. I mean, obviously they're gonna make more.
Hopefully.
Where they take this universe, we don't know.
I would want to see a movie about X-23.
Yeah, me too.
Laura.
Yeah. I think that's probably in the works because Logan is already such a big hit, having just come out. So 20th Century Fox is obviously looking to, cash in more on this.
But I feel like it has a potential to bomb because you can't just expect so much from a kid. You'd probably have an adult lead, but it won't be Logan.
Maybe we'll have like
some other X-Men.
Some other X-Men who are now in hiding.
Yeah.
Or like maybe Beast is now I don't know, like washing cars somewhere somewhere in LA, and he's using his fur to dry. I don't know. So yeah, final thing is, what is your rating of Logan?
I give it
out of 10.
It's too high for a 7 for me.
It's too high.
6.8.
6.8.
Yes.
That's a bit specific though. 6.8.
Because it's too low for a 6.
Okay.
And a 6.5, but it's not a 7 for me.
Okay, I'm giving it a 7.5 Wolverines.
6.8.
Okay, so here you go. TV is giving it 6.8 Wolverines. I'm giving Logan 7.5 Wolverines out of 10.
Yeah, but not because the movie sucked. It's because it's Logan dies, Professor X dies. It's such a sad moment for their timelines. It made me sad, so that's probably why I give it a 6.8.
Okay. I'm giving my score purely based on how much I enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the setting. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the acting was good.
Yep.
I enjoyed all the gore that we've sort of come to expect from Wolverine. Because we read the comics and he's like this this like over the top. He's this guy is brutal.
Yeah.
And we've never seen that being shown on the screen. Now we have, and I'm not disappointed. It's just sad that this is the one.
Yeah,
and
you feel like you want more after watching this
you want
movie.
more. You want to see Hugh Jackman be more of Logan.
Yeah, like this.
Like this, not
Not like not this cool kiddie type.
Why did we only get this towards the end?
Yeah.
Why they could have given this to us.
Money, because Hugh Jackman took a pay cut to get it R-rated.
He did, yeah.
Yes.
He took a pay cut just to make sure that
Damn you.
I want this to be R-rated. So he should have taken a pay cut like a long time
ago for.
But if it was done before, the other X-Men would have had to take a pay cut as well.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the other X-Men would kind of be cool if they were R-rated as well. Like if you
Some.
think, some of them, not all of
Yeah.
them. Like, but if you could think about just the main characters, Magneto, if he was given a chance
That's brutal.
to be R-rated, he would be brutal. Like
Yeah.
he would be like in a restaurant, like killing people with forks and
Ugh.
whatever. Oh. Anyway, so there you go. That's our review of Logan. If you haven't already watched it, do head on over to our local cinemas as it is showing. They just started showing it this week.
And yep.
So, go ahead and watch it. And fair warning, don't bring your kids. Don't bring kids in general to this film because there is swearing.
This is not a kids movie.
There is swearing. There is blood. There is guts. There is gore.
Yep.
So that's our episode this week. It's a short one this week. We'll be back next week potentially, or maybe we'll take a break. I'm not so sure yet.
It's up to you.
We'll see. Thank you so much for listening to the Movie Maniacs podcast with me, Kevin, and
TB, thanks.
we'll see you soon. And well, bye.
Bye.